make the laughter feel.
Call of Cthulhu Dark Corners of the Earth is a first-person action-adventure game that kind of looks like a shooter but actually combines stealth and adventure elements. It's similar to games like Thief and Deus Ex and System Shock in that it just throws all this stuff together into this one really atmospheric experience. It's based on the work of H.P. Lovecraft, the American horror writer, and it is all about how he wrote these stories where the main characters just inevitably went mad from all the horrible things that they had to experience, and they're just trying to tell you and warn you about the dangers lurking just beneath the surface of everyone's perception. So in this game, you play as this private investigator named Jack Walters. You go to this little town of Innsmouth to investigate a missing persons case, but the population there is, well, something's wrong with these guys, and sure enough, you end up kind of fleeing for your life and trying to figure out what in the hell is going on in this place. So it's this really atmospheric game with a lot of really cool moments in it and just a great deal of variety as well. One of the things that's really cool about this game is that actually for a long time you're unarmed. It starts off as this first-person game where you're just being a private investigator and kind of looking around, talking to people, trying to solve some certain crimes and figure things out, solve puzzles and things of that nature. But then things get dangerous and you're forced to flee, and eventually you're forced to fight for your life, but it's a long time before you finally get a gun in your hands, and when that moment happens, it's actually really exciting. The gunplay in the game is pretty decent, but it's not that great, and same goes for the stealth. It's got plenty of these stealth sequences, and you could always kind of try to stay hidden and get the drop on your enemies, but it's how all this stuff works together that's really to the game's ultimate credit. It's the fact that you have these big, expansive environments that you're pretty free to explore on your own. Call of Cthulhu really does a lot with its first-person perspective, more than what you'd expect from like a typical shooter. For one thing, there's no interface on the screen at all, which a few games have tried out, but this one, it really nails it. So you don't see any kind of health meter, you don't see any ammo. It's just what you see through the character's eyes, and you get other types of feedback like the controller rumbling or kind of blood on the screen and stuff like that to indicate that you're taking damage or losing sanity and things of that nature. But apart from that, you also sometimes will see the character's arms kind of go into the scene when he's manipulating a safe or performing other types of actions or maybe getting knocked out and things like that. And those really help draw you in and make you feel like you really are in this character's body. There are a lot of scripted moments in this game, and a lot of them are really, really good, and a lot of them involve people getting killed in horrible ways and you kind of barely escaping with your life. And that's partly because your character seems to have the ability to sometimes temporarily be able to see things from his enemy's perspective, which, you know, contributes to the character's increasing loss of sanity. So the sanity effects in the game are pretty cool. Like, they just make your vision start to kind of swim as you're faced with these horrible truths and these weird things that the human mind isn't supposed to comprehend and all that. And so just when things start going really, really terrible and horrible things are happening to you at the same time, you'll find it really hard to actually see what's happening. And that might sound pretty frustrating, and sometimes it actually is, but for the most part it works really well to just make you feel bewildered by these sequences that you just kind of barely manage to come out alive from. Also, the game's combat, even though it's not that amazing, it does have some pretty satisfying moments in it. Like, you can stealth kill people with a knife pretty well, and it's got one of the kind of nastiest backstab animations that's ever been in a game yet. So you've got some nice and brutal combat in this game among everything else, and some interesting puzzles for the cerebral types. As far as the bad stuff goes, it's really that this game does have a good amount of trial and error in it. There are going to be many times where you die kind of multiple times in succession just trying to figure out what to do, and there tends to be a pretty specific way out. The thing is, these events are interesting enough to where it's not that frustrating for long, and you'll really want to press on and figure out what happens next. The game's a no-brainer for H.P. Lovecraft fans who've been waiting for a decent Lovecraft-inspired game for a long time, but really anyone who's interested in the idea of horror-themed action and adventure should check this game out, though keeping an open mind that it's going to defy a lot of their preconceived notions about, action and all these other things. So this game does a lot of things different, but its strengths are definitely in its originality and in its whole presentation. So it's got a lot of really good shockers, and for that reason, it's definitely worth checking out.